Hello and welcome to the Death Battle cast. We are the cast and crew of Death Battle and more. Ben, of course, voice of Wiz, joined by Chad, voice of Boomstick. Hello, Chad. Liam, he writes for us sometimes, pretty much all the time nowadays.
Going crazy.
He's like channeling Nick Cage.
It's let's ride. Ooh, if I grew up to be Nick Cage, that would be all I need for my entire life.
Did you say if I grow up to be Nick Cage?
Yeah, exactly. Like if like
it can happen.
On my 20-something birthday,
like
I had some like a cocoon formed around my body, and then like I burst out like covered in Nick Cage goop, and it was Nick Cage, like reincarnated. That would be so awesome.
The second Nick Cage passes away, you are just going to be
like
the cocoon and become the new.
You can do a face-off situation.
I would fucking oh my god! To star in a remake of Face Off, I would die and go to heaven, and then come back down to Earth, and then go back up to heaven. I would do it twice, just to come how much.
Well, that got weird.
Well, I tried to finish the bit, I couldn't.
Hey, we have a fourth person on the cast as usual, and we're joined by, that guy. It's Brandon.
I'm Brandon,
Yates.
the voice of Brandon.
Yo,
You're the voice of music.
If you do not know who
the
Brandon
voice of a generation,
you actually do. You just don't know it. Brandon has been. We've been working with Brandon for
ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a pretty long time at this point.
This is 6 years. Actually, this month, 6 years.
whoa,
Oh, wow. Yeah, holy shit, it totally is. That's awesome. Brandon is the music master, or one of basically the two music masters for Death Battle, and has been for
6 years.
6 years. Every other fight, basically, that we have has his music, and it's incredible.
I mean, thanks.
Yeah, of course. I mean, well, we wouldn't, still be working with you if we didn't think it was incredible.
Yeah, I definitely had to step it up. I know.
No, man. I'm so excited to have you on the cast because, like, I've been wanting to talk about music and what we do for music on Death Battle for a while now. Especially since, like, I mean, it's been a few years at this point, but before Death Battle we didn't make original music for every episode, right? It was more of a special case every so often.
It was the Wild West days of the internet, you just like grab video game soundtrack, you put it in.
I think I remember messaging Ben about it too, like, Ben, I think they're going to start cracking down on copyright stuff on YouTube. And then a couple months later, I get an email from you like, hey,
You're right.
Can you make music for us?
Well, yeah, because I mean, the whole point of Death Battle, right, is to like celebrate characters and whatnot. So naturally, using their music makes sense, right? Yeah. But of course, it's YouTube, and that can get tricky. So the best thing to do, and frankly, I think this is even better for it, is to get original music that celebrates both characters together and is tied to the battle itself. And yeah, I think ever since we really focused in on that and made it a permanent thing, it has just gotten better and better and better, which is fantastic. So we will get into that discussion in a little bit. If you have any questions for Brandon, go ahead and put them in chat if you are watching this live. Thank you. If you are not a first member, please go ahead and sign up to support us. And you can watch exclusive content and see Death Battles early. I'll just be checking chat every so often, and if I see a good question, then I'll write it down, make sure that we cover it. That's the point. But we have...
There was a few people that said hi to you, Brandon, that they love your music, and then
Hello.
Gaming News Guy was trying to get everybody to go check out your YouTube channel. Which people
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
do that.
Do that, actually. I'm like 50 subscribers away from 15,000, so let's do that. Let's make that happen.
Let's do that today. Everybody go subscribe.
If you're not... do we have 50 people watching? If we have over 50 people watching, everybody go subscribe so we can get to 15K before the end of the show.
There's
Bold of you to assume they haven't already subscribed.
New Death Battle, Liam versus the people that aren't subscribed to Brandon's channel.
Subscribe with the new account. Break the system.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description. Now whoever has to do that because I said it.
Yeah.
They better.
It's the law.
Okay, and I know a new Death Battle just came out that some people have questions about. We can talk about that later as well. But we will be having a Q&A next week for, Link versus Cloud, Poe versus Iron Fist, I believe, and Steven versus Star. So those three will all be kind of grouped into a single Q&A episode, similar to what we've done for the season 8 so far. We'll talk about how to submit Q&A questions in a bit, but let's talk about our community death battle for the day, which is different. So instead of doing a battle per se, we're going to talk about taste, which I guess is kind of the same thing. Let's talk about Link and what kind of duds he wears. We're talking about green tunic Link versus blue tunic Link. Which is the better one? Brian, if you could bring up blue versus green, that image that has both of them, and we will figure out which is the best one.
AKA,
I remember you saying this was originally going to be the...
As Breath of the Wild 2 was just announced and Sam was going on vacation, so he's just like, yeah, this will work. Made it. And then he left.
Well, I remember you saying that this was Green Tunic Link and Blue Tunic Link was going to be the season 1 finale of Death Battle, right? And you were like,
yes,
I guess Goku
the season 1 finale before Breath of the Wild even came out.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a forward-thinking show. You got don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, there was a Blue Tunic Link back then. It was Breathe Underwater Link.
Yeah,
that's true. There was a Zora Tunic Link. There was also Blue Pajama Link. He's been wearing blue for a while. It's just not like the usual thing, right? Pajama Link from Wind Waker is best Link, but that's not what we're debating today. What was I going to say? Oh, right. Yes, of course we can predict what happens in the future because we just so happened to line up our Link versus Cloud Death Battle the day before Nintendo's E3 press conference, even though nobody knew when Nintendo's E3 press conference was going to be until 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So we totally just knew that was going to happen. We just did.
I'm laughing right now because Stephen Moore in the chat said, blue is everyone's favorite color. Green wouldn't exist without blue. It's right.
Damn. Well, no, actually, you know what? I think it's more likely... Oh, I don't know. I don't know which color comes first. This is actually a very interesting topic that I find very interesting. I'm not even shitting you right now. I'm going to blow your minds. So, did you know that the ancient Greeks did not have a word for the color blue?
Yeah. No.
In the Odyssey, yeah, you knew that. In the Odyssey, Homer refers to the ocean as wine dark. He was calling it like red because this has actually been studied. Like early civilizations will come up with colors as they go. No one just sees like there's
no
like
one just says that's this color. Yeah.
Well, they don't see.
They didn't
blue.
have a color chart.
Yeah.
Like
and they might not see blue as like fundamentally different than another color, like red. They'll think it's really similar. There are
I feel like
African
Liam and I
tribes.
watched the same YouTube channels.
Yes, I think we did too.
He was talking about brown. I forget which channel this was, but he was talking about brown and how brown only recently came to be distinct from orange because all brown is dark orange.
Yeah.
That's blowing my mind.
And like there's some African tribes that have like a bunch of different color names for green because there are a bunch of different greens in the area where they live. But we, when they showed the color wheel to us, we're like, that just looks like varying, like very slightly different versions of green. We literally didn't see the colors because we didn't have names for them.
Well,
That's
what
fucking
we need to
wild.
Is I'm going to blow your mind here.
Yeah.
We need to get Sam's dad on the podcast because before he retired, Sam's dad was, I don't remember the official title, but it was something along the lines of like color master. He was the dude who like made colors for shit. Home Depot orange, he made that.
What?
It sounds like a supervillain name.
Yeah, I know, right?
The Color Master.
Yeah. That's the next character in James Gunn's Suicide Squad. That's going to be one of those characters.
I feel like it could be a problematic character. Says the panel of 4 white men.
Okay, Shade Master. Nope.
I'm not gonna riff.
We'll do Grand Master.
That's the
How about
thing.
that?
I remember one day I was like, I'd like known them forever. And I was just like, Sam, what does your dad do? And he's like, he makes colors. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, he made Home Depot orange. It's just like, okay, cool.
I love it. I love
You
it.
get-
Well,
you get
that
Jim
does sort of imply, okay, that actually green came first.
Possibly.
Because the Greeks
Possibly.
didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Because everything originated with the
boom.
Greeks, sure.
Destroy.
Yeah, plus you can get pigment out of grass, which is green.
yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Isn't it wild that they like looked up at the sky and were like, yeah, that's a version of red? Like, isn't that fucking is that crazy? It goes like white, black, and red is the first like primary color that you get because it's like blood. So it makes sense that comes first. But like, man, blue? It's the sky and the ocean. It's a lot of shit. I don't know. Wild.
People
Wild.
immediately Color Master like, would he team up with Crazy Quilt? There's like 4 Crazy Quilt references in our chat. Only
What the
our
fuck is
community.
Crazy Quilt?
Only our community would we be like, oh, the Color Master. The people like Crazy Quilt. Like nobody.
Oh.
Like,
Whoa,
Okay.
this guy looks awesome.
Let's bring it back to Link because this is actually like whether or not you prefer blue versus green Link does actually kind of tie into the death battle a little bit because we did use Breath of the Wild Link's champion tunic as the appearance in the battle, and that was more so just because that's the most up to date Link. But it was also because I really like the champion tunic Link.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and bring up some pictures of him and how badass he looks. Check him out. Look at how fucking boss he looks.
you brought portraits for this?
I brought portraits. Just like it's time to look at
love
this
him.
handsome lad and see what he's got. And
Looks
also,
great.
if you, in the next slide, I believe it says that. Well, not actually that one. That one just shows that he's very responsible while in this, and he's protecting his friends. Well, Green
He's a
Link doesn't really
murderer.
tend to do that.
He murdered an innocent bokoblin. What the fuck?
Because bokoblins aren't innocent; they're evil monsters, right?
No. You don't want to start up the goblin debate. This was an extensive topic back in the death battle days. Because a lot of times it is the heroes that are just killing the goblins
Yeah.
first.
true.
And
Yeah.
start the fight.
That's true.
And then you think about it, you're like, were they just killing them because they looked evil? Then the goblin was just defending itself?
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, Zelda has a counter to that already, or Breath of the Wild does. The bokoblins had invaded the whole freaking kingdom, so they kind of attacked first.
Yeah, but you know, history is written by the victor, right? What if
Oh,
they were
snap.
what if
Oh,
they were trying
I'm
to
really
immigrate
afraid
in
to
and they were
start
like, there's
laughing
no
on
room for you
technically-
here.
The bokoblins were the victors.
So
They
are we just
like
gonna
destroyed
But they
everything.
couldn't write. But they
are
couldn't
we just gonna
write.
slide over the fact that Ben prepared slides and he's like, "Here's my husbando. Watch him in all his glory."
Yeah.
Well, look, okay.
I mean,
I also
here's the-
prepared slides for Green Classic if you want it. We can go ahead and bring
Green-
up the
Green
green.
Classic, please.
Boring old green. Look
Oh,
at
you
boring
have the
old
fucking
green.
NES. Oh,
Of
you
course
took
you
the,
grabbed
like,
that one.
He's literally
is like-
not wearing any.
He doesn't
This is
wear
like
pants.
the virgin,
It's
the virgin
probably
in
too
Chad.
high
link
up.
up. This is like the virgin green link and the Chad blue link.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
exactly,
There we go.
yes.
Get some real shit. All right.
But okay, I mean, the green
just-
does get cooler and cooler over time, right? Like, he finally learns how to wear pants, and then he
I don't
gets some
know if I-
chainmail underneath him.
Yeah, he does.
Um,
And those sweet
which is
leather
pretty
bracelets.
I don't know if
Yeah,
I've
the
ever
Twilight
been
Princess look
sold
is pretty
on the
cool.
earrings. I don't know if I've ever been sold on the earrings. I don't think they're bad. I just am like, why?
Well, at least Ben, at least you didn't bring up an image of him from the Legend of Zelda cartoon show. So at least you had that going for you. No, you have a smug face. You fucking have that.
My
don't
favorite.
No,
My
I don't,
favorite
but-
is,
Okay.
My favorite
I
Link
mean-
design is Fierce Deity. IMHOTBQH.
Oh,
I think Fierce Deity looks so unbelievably cool. It's perfect. And perfect for Majora's Mask.
All right. Well, listen, I don't think like right now all we talked about is the aesthetics. Do we want to talk about like Arsenal? Because that's the thing that like it's gonna be hard to beat the Blue Tunic Link because he has more technology, right? Like
Well-
it's like mostly it's like an improved thing of everything we've seen in the past. The only thing I would be interested about is like the time control aspect. It's like would like Link Classic have better control over time? Because Blue Link can only freeze it for a little bit.
Right. It's situational. The Ocarina is is more
Right.
flexible, but you actually have to play a song in order to activate it.
This is true. He's just running while
Blue
playing
Link
the
just-
song.
Yeah, and I don't know actually if he has to play the whole song or just the notes that you play in Ocarina of Time. Because in Ocarina of Time, you only play like half a. Help
but
me
then
out,
he goes
Brandon.
on
What is
to,
that?
six-
What
like
is that?
six
Just
notes
do the
measure.
notes.
Just one measure.
Then he'll go on to
Yeah,
play the
I'm
song.
We got the music
Right?
guy on. Let's talk about the music.
Exactly. This is perfect.
I
Oh,
was
it's
just
very
over here
beautiful,
thinking
like-
about the implications of Oracle of Seasons. Does he move the planet to change the season when in Oracle of Seasons? Like, did you guys factor that in?
No, well, I mean, it's the same thing about the Sun song, right? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, did he,
Like,
did he
accelerates
rotate the
time.
planet or did he move the star?
Yeah,
That's also an important distinction.
Yeah, there's some powers that are very out there. I mean, welcome to Zelda. It's 30 years old now. This is like its 30th anniversary, right?
Oh no, it's
35th.
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 Yeah.
Right. Whatever. It's old.
Mocha
Man.
said Ocarina Link had some serious lung capacity. I mean, it goes
did.
on. Okay, real
Which-
talk though. Who here, because of your fondness for Ocarina of Time, who here has at one time in their life owned an ocarina?
Not putting the hand up.
At one
Yeah.
point, yeah.
There we go.
Hey.
I've thought about it, but I
Just
never did.
browsing
I
on
never did take
eBay
the
or-
plunge.
Amazon, you're just like, that looks nice.
Mine was at a con. I was like, okay, Ocarina. Sure, why not? And then I was trying to figure it out, and I was like, I think it was just like it looks like an ocarina that they drilled holes in to make some sort of sound, but not like really a good one. And then I think I was at Magfest one time, and this dude's like walking down like with an ocarina, like playing like a symphony from Zelda, and I'm just like, that guy really committed.
Well, I think that's a good little jumping off point into. We'll go back and forth with this Link community death battle or whatever. But Brandon did do the music for Link versus Cloud, and there was an ocarina part in Link versus Cloud where we had to trim it a little bit so we don't actually see Link play the ocarina in the fight. But spoilers, by the way, we're going to talk a little bit about Link versus Cloud. But there is a point where he uses the ocarina to summon a storm using the Song of Storms. Brandon, what did you do for that part specifically? Because we kind of mixed the music in with what was actually going on in the fight. Like,
So
he was literally using the ocarina.
what I did for that actually is I had someone I know who has an ocarina, and I had them record each of the individual notes separately, and then I put them in sort of like you would see someone sample a drum kit where they would put like a kick and a snare across the grid. But I did that with the ocarina notes, the individual ocarina notes, so that I could program them. I made an ocarina
kit.
synth. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So what you're saying is you can now make any song, any ocarina song, and it'll sound authentic.
Yeah, it's because it's just all the ocarina notes. And I did it with two ocarinas, a big one and a little one. That's why in the original version you heard it sounded different. It was because it was on a really little ocarina. And I was like, oh, we need the big one. And but big one being like twice the size of the little one. But yeah.
I would have
Big
to
potato,
map the
little
kit
potato.
to a 64 controller to play it.
Yeah.
Right C, down C, up C. Right? Like that's
And then everybody can play the ocarina. They don't have to learn anything. It's just
You're right.
the
You're like,
buttons.
yeah, I grew up on this. Now I'm playing the ocarina the way I was
I mean,
taught.
an ocarina has less buttons than a GameCube controller. Like, you could do it. Only got five holes.
I need this. This is the next big thing.
I'm sure there's
It's
someone's
in
created a
character for
device.
Boomstick. I think this is in character for Boomstick to play ocarina.
Boomstick go to
Yeah,
Raid
learn how to
first?
play the ocarina. What, Vince? Hand me that controller. Like, that's
There's got to be a device out there somewhere where somebody has just made attached an ocarina to a control, like an N64 controller.
Yeah,
right.
I'm certain.
Yeah, it's called
for
Legend
sure.
of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Like as an actual instrument. I mean,
So Chocolate Disclot in the chat says the Song of Storms music cue is the hypest shit in the entire fight.
yeah.
I thought that the shot with Cloud in the fire, that gave me chills when I saw it the first time. I was like,
yeah.
man, that's such a good looking shot.
Like right before the Fierce Deity moment.
Yeah. That's my favorite shot in the whole fight. It's just the like Sephiroth framed like cloud where it's like the fire behind him and he's like crouched down.
The fire wasn't even originally planned. That was something that the animators added while they were working on it in Blender, and we went into review and we kind of discussed whether or not it made sense, and they were like, yeah, and then when he goes Fierce Deity, we could turn it purple. I was like, dude, that's awesome, let's do it. And then it turns green for Cloud later on when he goes into his limit break. Like it was such a smart idea. Pardon the quick interruption. I just want to take 1 minute to talk about our sponsor, Canva Pro. Canva Pro is the easy-to-use graphic design platform that helps you design like a pro. Canva Pro can help boost you and your team's productivity and creativity. It's a quick, easy, and affordable way to design whatever you need. Canva Pro has helpful design tools that you can choose from depending on your needs for a project, including a collection of over 75 million premium photos, videos, audio, and graphics. That's a lot. Plus, it comes with time-saving tools that simplify and speed up the creative process. You get all this and more with just one subscription. If you've followed me in Death Battle for a while, like before the Rooster Teeth times, you know that this all began with just a little startup company. And what I found is that you can have the greatest ideas in the world, but without quality design and presentation, almost nobody's going to notice. Canva Pro is an excellent way to get that quality without the stress. Design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a free 45-day trial when you use my promo code. Just go to canva.me/cast to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/cast. Canva.me/cast. Thanks for the support, Canva Pro. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah, we also talked about like the Fierce Deity moment needs to be such a huge shift in the tone of the fight, right? And you can see that with the fire and the lighting change after the Song of Storms because the clouds are still there or whatnot. And then also with the music as well. Like I think the way I kind of described it to you is I almost wanted it to be like a horror movie villain just suddenly showing up. It's like Link is going to murder this guy, this poor kid.
Yeah, I definitely. It's like a whole second song worth of instruments just for that one section. Like, this session was... I have a very good computer. Like, a really ridiculously good computer. And this session was murder on my computer. It took, I want to say 10 minutes to load every time. So wow. And then the autosave function...
How many tracks did you have?
Something like 72.
God.
And...
Jesus Christ.
Anytime it autosaved, it would take like 8 minutes to autosave. I had to disable autosave and pray because it just I couldn't work. I couldn't work with autosave. It would be like, oh, it's autosaving, time to go, I don't know, like
cook dinner.
Yeah. And then it would take just as long to close the session. So I would like send in a version and then I'd get like the edit requests and I'm just like, please let this be the last time.
Oh no. I mean, to be fair, like you sent in that original version and we were like, well, this part needs to change, this part needs to change, but like generally speaking, it was pretty freaking dope from the get-go.
Yeah, I was really excited about how, like, I don't know, sometimes I just sit down and the magic happens, and that was definitely one where I guess because I just love both series so much. Like, my very first game as a kid was Link to the Past. And I actually have this distinct memory, and I want to say this just so that when my mom watches this later, she can cringe about it. But my very first memory, the second game I ever beat was Link to the Past, with the first being Mortal Kombat 2, but arcade game doesn't really count. And I remember that right when my mom got to the Dark World, I accidentally bumped her cartridge, and I was only like maybe 6 years old at the time. And she banned me, she said anyway, that she banned me from playing the Super Nintendo ever again. She was so mad that I deleted, that I accidentally, because I bumped the cartridge and it somehow deleted her data. And, and 6-year-old me was devastated. Of course, 2 weeks later I was able to play again.
Yeah, of course.
But has the ban been officially listed? Or are you just illegally playing SNES?
Yeah.
Banned by my mom.
I think the real question is how did you beat Mortal Kombat 2 in arcade? That game literally cheats. It literally cheats.
I don't know. I do remember having a hard time with Shao Kahn, but I think I was like 6 or 7 the first time I beat Mortal Kombat 2.
Wow.
6-year-old Brandon
right,
is
impressive.
the best Mortal Kombat
All right,
player.
okay. Okay.
Shao Kahn laughing at me
Tom.
was something
That
set
guy-
something off in me.
Yeah, that guy Tom is the best Mortal Kombat player I've ever seen in my life. You remember
I
him,
know.
Ben? When we did
I
Mortal
remember him.
Kombat at events? He was a
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah,
I remember him. I've got his
Wow.
like sticker that says I got schooled by Tom or whatever.
Yeah, dude, like he didn't lose a single match the whole weekend. Multiple weekends this has happened. Anyway, like I can hold my own in some third strike, and I've been close to that a few times. But god damn, dude,
I got around on him.
There
one
you go.
time, but it was around, and then he was like, "Okay, I got to get serious now. I don't want to lose this cabinet." And then he just destroyed me, like two-stocked me.
Oh no.
My question here, guys, is if we're talking about links,
thank you for bringing it
Which
back to
is-
the actual conversation.
which is the favorite? Which is the best Zelda game?
oh,
ever
never
talk
mind.
about
You didn't.
this?
You opened a can of worms far larger than the one we were
Yes.
already exploring.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
I did. I did.
Like, how are
Ocarina
you
of
even
Time.
supposed to determine that?
Ocarina of Time. Call me nostalgia blind.
what is
Whatever.
the-
I don't
just-
care.
that
I
is-
fucking love it.
It is the point of the discussion.
I have replayed Ocarina of Time more than I have replayed any other Zelda game. So, therefore, to me, it is the greatest.
Yeah, the Link to the Past for me. I mean, it was literally my childhood, so I can't fight with myself over that.
I will say, on
Really
amount
tough.
of platforms Link to the Past, I've played the most. I played that shit on a TI-83 calculator at one point. Like,
Wow. Man. I mean, that
I'm gonna-
does feel like it's a lot of nostalgia from both of you, though. That's dictating that decision.
I'm gonna make a bold move. I'm gonna make a bold fucking move here. The Oracle games.
Yeah, those were pretty good.
Boldness.
Wow.
I
that
think
is
they
bold.
are. I think that they are incredible. I think that they have the best puzzles in any Zelda game. I think that they are like the epitome of top-down Zelda. I think that they're fucking.
I agree with
awesome.
that. I agree with that.
You-
I think they're epitome of top-down Zelda.
you think they're better than Minish Cap?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
liked Minish Cap, though.
Minish
I-
Cap's great. They're all good.
I
I
just
don't know
tough,
if they're
though,
all good.
because-
Zelda 2 was. I don't know about that.
There's also
Zelda
the 3DO.
2 is,
There's the 3DO we don't speak
maligned.
of.
I like Zelda 2. It is probably the worst one, but I do like it. It's just it tried to there was no rules about what Zelda was and wasn't at the time, and they tried some stuff. And
They
Have
sure
you
did.
finished
I
Zelda
think that
2?
there's some.
Like, how much
Not-
Zelda 2 have you played? 'Cause
I've done
never
about half.
it.
I've done about
Yeah,
half.
I've never.
played a
I don't think
couple
I've ever finished
hours.
either.
Yeah,
Played a couple
I've done
hours
about
and was
half.
like, I don't know what this is, but this isn't Zelda. I'm like, yeah, just stop.
It's
What was it with like all the number 2 games on the NES being completely different? Mario 2 is just a different game. Castlevania 2 is some
Well,
weird shit, which is
I know
now
for
what
Mario
Castlevania
2
is.
I know for Mario 2, or at least Super Mario 2, the one where they're in like the desert and they're pulling onions and stuff.
That's
That was
because-
originally. Yeah, it was a different
Don't
game.
you panic.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah,
a
it was
different
originally a
game, and then
different
they just
game.
remarketed it.
And
I
the
actually
Japanese
love-
one was the same game remade, basically. It's
But
because
with all the
they
harder
were a
levels
toy
that they
company.
thought Americans weren't good enough to play.
Nintendo's
which
always
then-
been a toy company first.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good
First
point.
and foremost. Like, even more so than Microsoft and Sony treat games. Like, they still treat games as toys, first and foremost, generally speaking. That's why a lot of their games are more toy boxes than stories or something like that.
And I mean, like,
so I
if you
think
look at-
they looked at these games and were like, Zelda's really good, but you can't just release the same toy with some new tweaks. Like, it's got to be different because they still have that mindset. Everything's got to be different. That's why we don't have a new Star Fox outside of weird gimmicky Star Fox
Or F-Zero.
Or
The
F-Zero,
reason you don't have a
we-
new F-Zero is because GX was just perfect. You don't need to make another one. You just need to re-release it. You can't do any better.
That's-
It's perfect.
that'd be
I need
pretty
more
dope.
Metroid in my
We should
life.
do that.
You're
More
getting it.
3D Metroid.
Well, you should watch the-
Okay.
We're never going to
Yeah.
end this debate. We're about to veer off into Nintendo Direct. Like, this is like, just vote wherever the fuck you want. We'll figure out what it is later.
Yeah. Well, I never said my favorite Zelda game. I honestly think Breath of the Wild might be up there, but
Yeah, for sure.
nostalgia does push. Man, it's difficult because I do want to say Ocarina of Time because that game means so much to me. Same with Link to the Past, but I honestly think I gotta go with Wind Waker.
Yeah,
I
Wind
love
Waker
Wind
is so
Waker
good.
so
Wind
Wind
Waker
Waker
much.
is my
so
least
good.
favorite, and everybody
That's
gives
the one
me
I've
shit
played
for
through
it.
the most.
Okay,
I think.
It can be
You-
your least
Ben will
favorite
remember
as
this.
long as the reason isn't the art style. Then that's okay. It's fine. But if the reason
So-
is the art style, then you're wrong.
No, the reason so the art style was a little jarring at first because this is like
Yes.
the beginning of cell shading. It was like that and Beautiful Joe is like all we had. And it was like this is weird and different. And then it's like, oh, I like it. No, it's the amount of time spent sailing on the goddamn sea that just really took it away from me. They're like, great, I've sailed all the way to here. They're like, good, all right, do the one thing. I'm like, yep. And then it's like go all the way over there. And I was like, motherfucker. Like that's what just killed it for me.
Isn't
But I
that
get
like
it.
the entirety of Sea of Thieves? Just
That's basically Sea of
Oh, but
Thieves.
I fight a lot more people in Sea of Thieves.
Well, Wind Waker has a lot of like events that happen on the ocean as well, and it's not nearly as much as you would get from a good open world game these days, like Breath of the Wild. It does a much better job with the open world, and I think the HD, the Wii U remaster of Wind Waker helps a lot in that regard because you have more control over the wind and or not the wind, how the boat works and it's faster and whatnot. The only weak part for me for Wind Waker is, and honestly, it's every Zelda game has a certain point where the story just tanks, even Breath of the Wild. And Wind Waker's has a very specific point where it's like you learn who Zelda is, and then the game just kind of decides it's done.
Well, hey, you can go back to these villages and play some more songs and shit. With
that
your-
sort some more mail.
The camera minigame is like maybe one of the worst things. Where you have to like take like you can only hold like 3 pictures at once, and you have to sail all the way back to that one place
Just
to get
like
them
real life.
processed. Yeah,
just like real life.
wanted to cave my skull in with that shit.
So Ben will remember this, but for you guys, I don't know if you ever saw it. So we used to have a series. It was the best ever, and we'd also do the worst ever.
Mhm.
The
I remember.
hands down most hated episode of content that Screw Attack ever created was the worst ever Zelda games, and because there's no winning that.
No.
Looking back, you're just like, no matter what, everybody loves everything, and unless you just were like, it's the 3DO ones, then people like they're gonna rip you apart. And they did. I said Wind
CDI.
Waker. People got so fucking mad. Sam went crazy. What did Sam say? Sam said like Ocarina of Time.
Oh no!
Damn!
Oh, it was bad. It was,
I like
it was
it.
the most hated
I
video.
don't know if he actually said that. I don't want to necessarily put that
That's
into
awesome.
the world.
No, I
That's
think he did.
fucking
I think that was his argument that because so many people got nostalgia blind because of Ocarina of Time, they couldn't see the value of other Zeldas, and that's why it's the worst one. I'm fairly certain that was it. It might be somewhere. It's probably still on Rooster Teeth. But yeah, that's our most hated video.
That's
we've ever
badass
done.
saying that Ocarina of Time is the worst one. I just want to put that out there. I'm like really impressed.
I bet he doesn't look at
Okay.
explosions either.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I do want to. There was a question in the chat that I want to touch on for you, Brandon. You've made a lot of music for Death Battle. Are there any particular tracks that are maybe like your favorite that you really want people to go check out?
So I really enjoy a lot of the stuff that I've done, especially in the past couple of years. I feel like I've really started to really come into my own. But I think that the turning point was around Mega Mania, where I started to just be like, wow, I'm really starting to get this. And so Mega Mania, and also because I got to collaborate with my favorite guitarist just in the world, it was just a really exciting experience for me to collab with C2A. So I go with Mega Mania is usually which one I point people to initially, but really anything from Dangerous Gaze to now, I don't think there's very many songs that I'm not proud of from like October 2019 till now. I think I've just really stepped it up and I've really pushed myself to keep getting better. And
But what are some favorites? Not from I'm going to critique my own quality standpoint, but just like enjoy listening to.
I mean, I don't really listen to my own stuff a lot. Let's see.
I was gonna say, do you listen?
Like
to your
that
own
would
stuff?
make me seem very conceited, I guess.
Well, I have to listen
Bastard,
to it
you
like
got
2
Mega Mania stuck in
yeah.
my head now.
Like I have to listen to the song like 200 or 300 times before it ever goes public. So it's usually I'm just sick of it by the time it's public.
That's true.
But I guess Mega Mania, Falcon Uncaged, Undershroud. If Chaos Unraveled counts, because Theirwolf and I both did that. He did the instrumental and I sang that. That one I can listen to and not hate it because I didn't have to listen to it a couple hundred times to mix it. And like that one, I'm like, wow, I sound really good in this. Like,
yeah, that one and Mighty was a collab as well, right?
Yeah, Mighty was like a full-blown collab. Like, we split everything directly down the middle. Like, I did vocals, guitars, drums, bass, and synths and orchestra. He did guitars, drums, bass, synths, orchestra, and mixed the song. So it was a perfectly even split for that song. Nice. We even both did guitar solos.
Yeah.
Oh, I also... Off Bandicoot was really good.
I think that's my favorite one.
Off Bandicoot is a lot of fun. That was like so an extra... Fun. That one was like a little extra that I did where I was just like, hey, I think it'd be cool if we had this play while Crash is breaking stuff.
That's right. That wasn't even originally planned.
Yeah.
Like you just like sent in the first draft of the battle music and you included like an extra thing. Like, what about this? And we just went with it.
I just wanted to do that bass part, that do. And I was just like, I really like that. So I'm sending it.
Oh, Mighty's really good too. It's too hard to pick, man. It's too hard.
I think we keep getting better. I think Aaron and I are both like better than we've ever been.
Oh, you guys are both ridiculous. Like what you guys can do is insane.
Yeah, I think that's entirely fair to say. Especially because Death Battle, like, we keep throwing complicated challenges at you guys because we're covering all these different characters with different themes and genres and styles. And kind of having to not only like match those genres and styles, but also making sure that it emulates the characters and like you listen to a track and it feels like you're listening to a track that's about Lex Luthor or about Blake or about Steven Universe or something like that. That's tricky. Like that's tough. But you guys have been doing it for years now.
It's insane. Like you think about like a standard musicians, like they're like, of course they find their own ways to innovate and stuff, but still it's like most of the time they're making music for one category, like they're doing it for rock or punk or country, right? And there are, obviously there's a lot more to that too, but you have to do like fucking everything. You and Aaron, it's crazy. Like it's like we want this one needs to be like orchestral. This other one is like synthwave, or whatever. Like, and you're just like, okay.
And then this one's jazzy. It's a
this
full
one's
course
jazzy.
Will.
Yeah, this one. My favorite track by Theirwolf. Oh my god, why am I blanking on it? It's the super 80s one that I love with all of my heart. Wings of Iron.
Oh, Wings of Iron.
Yeah. Like you have to do an 80s like glam rock ballad, basically.
I love doing 80s music too. Like synthwave stuff is so good. I love the retro synth sounds. I do that a lot in my own personal stuff.
Yeah, we got to do more of that because I
think my favorite of yours is 100%. I think it's so badass. I think it's
that one is
awesome.
So chaotic sounding. Like
it
was when I was still getting like the reins on the new, because that was right after I had updated my studio. So Dangerous Gaze was the very first one I did in my new studio, and I did it like half and half. I recorded it in my old studio and then mixed it in my new one. But 100% was the very first one I did fully in my new studio. And I didn't quite have like it all under control yet. And I think that the mix kind of reflects that, but in a good way. It sounds like the whole song is just barely under control, which also ended up feeding into the tone of that fight as well, because Mob is just barely under control. And then Tatsumaki is not under control at any point.
That's a really good one to bring up, because that I think that's a very good example of how much challenge some of these tracks can have. Because like, what do you do with those kinds of characters and throwing those kinds of themes at each other? Well, apparently that.
Yeah, I sit down and then I just get possessed and it just falls out of me. I mean, like, I'm not flying, I'm falling with style. It's the only thing I can say.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit before we wrap up the community death battle or whatnot. Let's talk about the process here. So the way the music, the track usually works is, or at least how it starts is, we have a matchup. Obviously, we start we get an animatic done, and we start the animation, and we send you the animatic with any direction notes and things like that, references for the tracks that we're thinking we should probably emulate, what we want to kind of capture. And then you take it from there. And what's your steps after taking those notes?
Usually I just sit and I have a think, and usually an initial idea will come to me, and it's not always from the same place. So I might have like just this one guitar riff idea that I'll build from, or I might have like this idea for an orchestral drum part, and I take that one section, put it where it's supposed to go relative to where I'm like hearing it in the fight, and I kind of just build out from there. Like what's that Minecraft game mode where you're on the
creative
island?
mode?
No, not creative mode. The one where you're like you only have a little island. Anyway, it's kind of like that. Someone I'm
like
sure in
Zelda
chat will know.
Eventide Island, right? From Breath of the Wild. It's like that. The island where you only have you're naked. They just drop you there. Was it called Eventide? I think is what it's called.
I'll pretend that I play my Switch. I'll pretend that I play it.
Oh, no.
Good. Rad.
Clearly, that's what
He
Brandon's
was
not
really
fucking
trying to
Blue
tie
Link.
that back into Zelda for us. So
Fuck yeah. All right, cool. Goodbye.
I appreciated the effort.
Yeah.
So you take that little piece, and you kind of go from there.
Yeah, I build out from it, like building blocks, I guess.
Sick of rando sliding into your team chat when you and your friends are playing them video games. Well, you need your own private Oasis, and that's Oasis is a free and easy to use add-on for Omen Gaming Hub. It creates a virtual room for you and up to 15 of your best buddies to play private gaming and have little watch parties and stuff, so you can watch each other play games. It's really cool. It's a useful tool, and it is just really nice and seamless and good, and it's a nice little oasis, as they keep saying. But Oasis isn't just any virtual room. It has a low latency 720p 30 frame per second screen sharing, which is a super useful tool. I've been doing a lot of screen sharing, especially through this pandemic with friends. It's a good way to kind of be playing games together like that. And it's just super nice. Like I said, the low latency bit of it is super useful. It's got great audio quality. You don't have to worry about any technical difficulties to get it playing. It's super easy to use. And because you can use voice or text chat while you share your screen or play along with someone else's, Oasis is the best way to hang out when we can't, hang out. Anyways, make sure you have Omen Gaming Hub installed, then get the Oasis add-on to build your own gaming paradise. Play together, watch together, chat together, share together, all with Oasis by Omen. Download Oasis on Omen Gaming Hub and try out the beta now. Go do that. It's really cool. Check it out. It's an awesome place. It's an awesome little app. Works great. That's me.
So what was the first part of why am I blanking on what we called Link versus Cloud? Crap.
Actually, for Link versus Cloud, there were for Final Breath, there were two initial things. The little arpeggio you hear at the very beginning, the like tinkling doo 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 doo. I can't sing it because it's. But the little arpeggio at the beginning and like the brass, that kind of like bending down brass, that came at the same time as one section. And then the idea of having the Final Fantasy VII battle music, which I think is just called "It's Time to Battle," layered in with my own guitar riffs, because I wasn't sure if I was going to do vocals over this one or not. And so there's kind of the skeleton of that still in there with the way that the song is structured. But specifically the section that sounds like the Final Fantasy VII battle music was the second thing to come to me. And so it was about connecting those two ideas and later working in the Legend of Zelda sections. For sure. And I remember we definitely wanted to make some big epic moments for Link as well, because there's definitely a Final Fantasy vibe to it, at least in the first half. But having the big thunder moment after Song of Storms, where he's doing the Skyward Strike and whatnot, and of course I struggled with that for a long time, and then when it finally came, that dun 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 thing that I did with it, I was, when that finally came out of me, I was like, well, we found it. It gets to this big clashing note, and then it just stops, and it just has this big swell, and then boom. I don't know, it felt super dramatic. I struggled with that for a long time. I was like, should I return to this other part? What can I do here? And then you actually recommended, Ben, you recommended that I give Link some fanfare, because this was a big Link moment. And so I started it with some Legend of Zelda orchestra, and then had that just kind of sneak into being the big build-up part. I kind of it's very sneaky, because the last note of the Zelda section transitions perfectly into the build up to where it sounds like it's going to be the Zelda section still, but you're already building up by the time you realize that you've switched sections.
Yeah, and then there's the big explosion as they both basically die and have to heal each of themselves up. Yeah, oh, man, it's so good. If you have not checked out Final Breath yet, definitely should. As well as the other music that all the music that Brandon and Aaron have made are up, available for download, listening on Spotify, etc. But Brandon, where else can the good people watching at home find you?
YouTube.com/the Brandon M. Yates, and I might just be Brandon M. Yates, and Twitter at B Michael Yates. That's AEL Michael.
And you're like making music over there that sort of emulates the idea of death battle, right? So a lot of the death battle fans, I kept getting DMs on Twitter about like, hey, will you do this? And so I eventually just caved and started doing it, and it's been useful. I'm using the money from those commissions to produce some of my own content, which I'm really excited to share, but it's still months and months out.
Speaking of this, I grabbed this question because I saw it like at the beginning of the show. Bat Dex Gamer asked, he said, I love your music, Brandon Yates. And there was a bunch of exclamation points. He says, I'm curious about your commission tracks. If you only OC tracks in the form of versus songs, or if you do solo OC songs as well.
Yeah, actually, so I made a new policy that I'm not doing OC tracks on the channel anymore, versus or not. But I still do make original like character and original content music, and then I send that to the client privately. I've actually been doing that for years, but it's gotten more into the public eye recently because of like the versus commissions. But yeah, I'm more than happy to make any kind of music for anyone. It just might not get posted on my channel because, you know, if it's someone's OC and then it's posted on my channel, it's just going there to die. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's like that, but you know, people want to hear the versus music, and so if I'm posting someone's character, I want to do them justice for their character. I don't want to be thinking about what's going to sell on my channel.
Yep,
that sounds very smart, actually. Yeah, so it's not that you don't do it. You're totally open to making.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it, and it's the same price and everything. It's no big deal.
Awesome.
It's just that it just won't get posted on my channel. It's the only difference.
Again, speaking of, go sub to his channel if you haven't. We got to get it to 15K.
I'm gonna check right now. If we're at 15K.
Yeah.
You better be. I'm gonna be disappointed in all of you.
I saw a lot of people in the chat said they did, but you know, we'll once it gets archived, there'll be even more viewership. So hopefully they'll go over there.
All right.
We're at 14,963.
Getting closer. Come
you
on.
go.
Let's share it around. Let's get them up there.
We got 13. So that.
All right. Let's go ahead and wrap up this blue link thing that we're doing.
Sure. Do we have community answers?
We do. Let's go ahead and bring up. We haven't even done what's going on our community death. Whatever. It's time for the community death battle. Sorry, Brian.
He's used to it.
Apologies, Brian, for throwing him off, but I guess we're probably not the most chaotic thing. Achievement
I'm
100
so
after us,
glad Brian is RTD. That's all I have to say. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's because we've been friends for so long, but it's like I never feel bad when we do that shit. I don't at all. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah,
Brian
screw
knows.
you, Brian. It's fine. All right. So we actually made this a poll on the Death Battle Twitter last week, I think, and it wasn't. So I think the idea here is it wasn't originally intended to be a community death battle, but the poll, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it right now.
Yeah.
Was super close. Actually, I won't spoil it. Let's go ahead and bring up the answers that were posted there. Starting with...
So it comes from No More Heroes. I am a Zelda fanatic. Link is the reason my favorite color is green. However, that champion look is too fire. Easily the best Link in terms of stats and personality.
We didn't even talk about personality.
I know.
Okay, but let's go ahead and bring up the answer for the green tunic Link, the classic.
This one comes from King Arbok. They both have their merits, and both are being represented by Nintendo in official posters for Smash and the like. Breath of the Wild Link and
Twilight Princess.
Oh, Twilight Princess Link portraying modern and classic. And I love the duality, though, because I'm an old fart and Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game. Green is my favorite. No one gave an argument for stats or abilities, same just like we did. We all just leaned into the aesthetics.
It's just a different shirt.
Are
It's the
we
same
old
guy.
farts? Are we old
The same guy,
farts
but like
if
on
we
a
played-
Sunday or versus a Wednesday. Like it's Link.
Well,
Are we-
I'm thinking
are we
more
old
like you only
farts
have
if we
access
played-
to certain things. Good.
Are we old farts if we played Twilight Princess when it came out? Is that what that tweet
that-
Don't
that
answer,
made
don't
me
answer
feel-
that. I don't want to
yeah.
know.
I don't want to know either.
How old? Okay, that would have been when the Wii first came out, which
Yep,
is
2006.
2006.
Which is 15 years ago.
15 years? It's not too old, right?
Sure.
Uh,
I never beat
Anyway,
Mark. Yep.
so the poll on Twitter, well, let's go ahead and bring up what you guys voted for. It's 50
Oh!
It is literally 50-50. Now, Green Classic is blue, which I think means it has slightly more and technically won, but 50-50.
That's insane.
Oh!
So, this is a pretty interesting split in the community, right? Maybe I should have opened with this poll like to make this more interesting. So, okay, now it's time for us to vote, and none of us championed and or like repped anything, so we're just gonna have to. We all get to vote.
Championed.
Also,
Yeah.
guys, if you want to vote in the poll, if you're on mobile, #1 is green, #2 is blue.
Yes. Okay. So the four of us are gonna vote, and then it's gonna come down to the live vote.
One link.
All right. So I'm voting blue.
Green link.
I go for Champion's Tunic Link myself.
Aesthetically, I like green, but in terms of fight to the death, using only the stuff that they had when they were those, I think blue would win.
See, I'm
So,
not
like
even
a-
thinking about it like that. I just think
in
blue
a fight
looks
to the
cooler.
death. Oh well, green Tunic Link gets the fierce deity mask, so green.
Does he though? Because he's not wearing. Is he wearing a green tunic when he goes first duty? I don't think so.
Which
Doesn't it
shirt would
change?
you rather wear? A green tunic or the Champion's tunic?
Okay.
Well, I'd rather wear the champion's tunic. Actually, the green would probably bring out my eyes.
In Breath of the Wild, I actually wear the chic. I wear a red chic outfit, which I think looks fucking awesome. But that's my personal link. I'm just gonna go green link because, but you guys are doing blue, right? Chad, you're doing blue.
I'm not. Well, again, it's Ben changed. He said he just going by what it's
There are no rules. Whatever you want to do.
green because lose.
Okay, I'll
Ben.
do blue. I'm gonna do blue. Blue
Okay, well,
looks good on me.
I'm gonna go ahead.
I look
I'm gonna
good
go
in
ahead and
blue.
do green because
Yeah,
and,
there we
yeah,
go.
like, I'd rather have the. I'd rather see someone cosplay Green Link. I feel like cosplaying Blue Link would be a cop out.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we
Alright.
got two blues and two greens.
the
so,
hat. Right, I got you. Yeah. Makes sense.
yeah, the hat's tricky. So we're 50-50 here too. It all comes down to the live poll. All right. Let's
Or
go ahead and
does it?
see what you guys had to say. Watch this be 50-50 too. Oh my god.
Damn it, Brian!
I mean, you guys have to vote blue now. Fuck yes, blue wins 58% to 42.
Whoa.
Thank you. You guys have good taste.
Wow, they beat nostalgia.
Oh, I just remembered. Since we had to skip what's going on, can I just quickly mention the most worthy thing that's going on? They are porting. I'm not joking. They are porting Plumbers Don't Wear Ties
No.
to Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. I'm not
Wait,
kidding.
Are you serious?
That's
I'm
why it was
totally
trending.
serious. I'm
I saw it
totally
trending and I
serious.
didn't bother to look it up.
Dude, I'm totally serious.
They just accepted how bad it is.
Because you mentioned the 3DO earlier, and
Yeah.
that reminded me of that the best game of all time is coming to
God.
modern consoles.
I'm just lost.
Oh, you don't know plumbers don't wear ties? Yo, look
No.
at
Don't worry
there's
about it.
There's an angry video game nerd episode on it if you want to go watch that. It is so bad. It was one of the FMV games. Right?
Baffling.
Yeah, it was a full motion video, and they're at one point outtakes
Yeah.
are just left in.
Yeah.
Like there's a point where somebody does an outtake, and then you hear people laughing in the background, and that made it to the final game.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It is.
I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is.
It's a
Well, I
dialogue
don't
tree
even-
game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's one of those
basically-
little CD dialogue tree games.
Yeah.
I've never played one, but I've seen them before.
It gets like, well, whatever. It's
But yeah, I don't even know what I would like say to describe what the game is. Like, it's just a
I have
dialogue
no
tree.
idea. Yeah, the
Oh, like,
title
It's a
doesn't make any
romance,
sense.
technically. It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
romance.
romance.
Good
It's a
dialogue
dating
tree.
sim.
Dating sim kind of
One
thing.
option.
Sort of a dating sim, I guess. If
Yeah.
there's- yeah, with one option. Oh God. Okay. All right. Let's wrap this up.
What's going on?
We are going to be doing the Q&A for Link versus Cloud, Steven Universe versus Star Butterfly, and
Poe versus Iron Fist.
Iron Fist versus Poe next week. If you have a question for that, you can always leave it in a comment on the YouTube video that's related to the question. But for this one, I do actually want to make a post on the Death Battle Twitter that also collects some of those. So stay tuned for that. That's just at Death Battle on Twitter. When that post goes up, you can go ahead and leave your question there. See how that goes, because I like to. We have so many episodes to cover, and there's a lot to talk about. So I want to try to keep questions kind of condensed. But if you don't have Twitter, you can always still post it there. We'll still be looking at those. It's just going to be easier for us to find them on that Twitter thread. And that will be next week. And that wraps up the show today. Thank you so much, Brandon, for jumping on with us and talking about the music. Like, man, I'm so excited to see. So Death Battle's coming back this September. This was our mid-season finale with Link versus Cloud, and I'm so excited to show you guys what we've got planned for the second half of this season with the music, with the matchups, with the animation. It's gonna be so good.
I can tell you one episode coming up is pretty long because we couldn't even finish the script in our hour and a half VO session.
Yeah.
One of them's a big one.
There's a couple big ones coming up, Chad.
A couple of big ones.
That one specifically, though.
All right. Thank you so much for watching this. If you're a first member live, thank you so much. If you're not a first member, of course, go sign up for that. Almost forgot to mention, RTX is coming up soon. That's July 8th through the 17th. Join us for 10 days of entertainment at rtxevent.com. And I believe, Chad, you might know this better than me, there are still some tickets left for the virtual happy hour. Yeah,
there might be a couple left. And so that's going to be like a more like, we're still going to do a panel and stuff, but the virtual happy hour is like a more intimate experience where we get to chat with you guys and have fun, and you can ask us questions directly. So it'd be really cool. So yeah, check that out. The links are, I guess we can drop that in the description.
rtxevent.com.
Yeah, you can get there through rtxevent.com.
And you can grab a ticket, hang out with us.
rtxevent.com.
All right. And with that being said, Achievement Hunter is up next. So be kind to others, be kind to yourself, stay awesome. We'll see you next week. Take care.